broadcast on Facebook, so we are good there. We'll get started, Aruni Mataji. Thank you so much for joining our call here today. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Zoom, Aruni Mataji, as well as those who are watching us on Facebook. Today, we're going to read from the Bhagavad-gita, chapter 15, verse number 6 today. And it's a beautiful verse which describes the kingdom of the Lord. And we're going to go through the word meanings first to understand the shloka better. And then we'll go focus on the pronunciation, and if possible, try to memorize it also. So on this special day of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, and as we are trying to understand the verses from Bhagavad Gita, our hearts actually overflow with gratitude to Srila Prabhupada for having taken the pains for translating these books into English for us, because most of us who don't have knowledge of Sanskrit, for us, this was the only way to understand this amazing scripture. And actually, through Prabhupada's, I'm learning Sanskrit through Srila Prabhupada's translations and synonyms and word meanings. So a special obeisance to Srila Prabhupada today on his disappearance day. And having said that, we'll just get started here. Sharing the screen, and if you can confirm that you can see 15.6, Mataji, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can? Okay, fantastic. And is it big enough?
Yes, it's big enough for me.
Yeah. Big enough for you to see. Okay, and we have Poonam Mataji also here. So that will be the reading order today. Welcome, Poonam Mataji. I'm very happy and very impressed that you have joined, decided to take that extra step that it takes, and starting this reading of the Srimad Bhagavad from focused reading of verses from Bhagavad Gita, especially on the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. So I'm very happy you have Srila Prabhupada's gift to this class. So what we do is we take up a verse. We have been doing chapter 15. We are on verse number 6. And so we have the verse here in the Devanagari script for anybody who wants to know that. Then we have the Sanskrit transliteration, as you can see in the bottom. There are word meanings here and the synonyms, and then there's a translation. Now, one of the things that we do is when we try to understand how do we pronounce these words, is we break these Sanskrit words here into the syllables, and then we focus on first how to pronounce these. And then once you get a little bit more comfortable, and we go around Robin, which will be Aruni Mataji and then you today. So we'll first practice going that, and then we practice pronouncing the full verses. It's a short class. We will end today at 6:55. And so having said that, let's get started. Na tat bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tathama paramam mama. So let's see, what does that mean? Here, na means not, tat means that, bhasayate means to illuminate, suryaha, the sun, na, nor, shashankaha, the moon, na, nor, pavakaha, fire, or electricity, yat, where, gatva, going, na, never, nivartante, they come back, tattama, that abode, paramam, supreme, mama, my. And you will see that there are differences between how words are written here in the synonym section versus how they appear here. For a typical example for this is this word tat, here. If you look into the Sanskrit, it became a tad. So the T here, or the soft ta for titli, got translated into or converted into a D, right? D, and then here also, into a D, and the for davat or davai, right? Dekhna, dena, duk, that the. So, and this is Sanskrit language. It's the nuance of the language that when the T comes before a a consonant, then it becomes a D, like that. So there are rules of Sanskrit. We don't necessarily go into the rules of the Sanskrit here in this class. We just focus on how do we learn to pronounce these verses, keep taking guidance from Prabhupada. And one of the things about pronouncing, as well as to memorize these verses, is to understand the meaning. So that's why we went through this part, the synonyms here. And the whole translation is that those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal. Oh, I don't think this is the translation for that. I think I think I got the translation messed up here. Let me put this over here. Right? No, not even this. Let me get it from the book. Sorry, apologize for that. G15.16 from the Veda base. Okay, yeah, the supreme abode of mind. Because here, for those of you who joined us late in this reading session, in the chapter 15, he starts with describing first the material world, and we saw how complicated it is. And this word, in this verse, he's actually describing the abode of mind, which means Krishna is speaking this, and he's talking about his own abode where he lives. And so he's saying that that supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So this is a very, very reassuring sentence that those who reach that particular place are never going to return to this material world. And that is such a fantastic reassurance for all the hard work that we are doing here. So let me just go back to our Bhakti Vrix, because I had posted the wrong, screenshot. So I'm just going to delete that before somebody reads it and gets the wrong meaning there. Okay. So the supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun. So what is the Sanskrit for sun from here?
Surya.
Surya, very good. And what is the Sanskrit for fire?
Agni.
Agni. And let's see if others want to jump in. What is the Sanskrit for something which is the best, at the highest?
Supreme.
It's Sanskrit.
Oh, sorry.
Give me the Sanskrit for it.
Yeah.
Paramam. Paramam, right? And one of the things we also keep in mind is look at the letters over here. If it's a bar on the top, then it's a big like ah. And if it's just a small, it doesn't have a bar on it, then it's a softer A, so like that, right? And then if there's a S with a little accent on the top, it becomes a sha, as in shaljam, right? Or like that. So, okay, so what is fire in Sanskrit? And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Agni.
Pavakaha.
Pavakaha, yes, Agni, but in this particular verse, it is Pavakaha. Pavaka is also the word for electricity, right? So, right. And then if you go to some place and you come back from there, what would you call that in Sanskrit?
Sorry, what did you ask, Mataji?
If you go somewhere and you come back, like you go to office, I'm going to come back.
Nivartante.
Gatva nivartante. No, nivartante.
Nivartante. Yeah, just nivartante. And what is gatva? What does gatva mean?
Going.
Okay. And this could be a tongue twister. What is to illuminate mean?
Bhasayate.
Bhasyate.
Bhasyate. Right. Yeah. So again, when there is a here and there's so this will be saya. It won't be sya. Right. So we have to take those small nuances also into consideration. So bhasayate will go, like that. And that is where this part comes in really good for us, which I think we are ready to go to this section. So where I've taken this word bhasayate and I'm breaking it down into pieces, and we will go into pronouncing this now, right? I'll do it once and then we follow. The order we're going to follow is Aruni Mataji, Poonam Mataji, Sulekha Mataji, and then Garima Mataji. Those two who joined us a little bit later. Okay. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shang ko na pavakaha So H with a dot, aha becomes a aha. So kaha, yad, gat, va, na, ni, var, tan, te, tad, dha, ma, pa, ra, mam, ma, ma. Like that, right? Okay. So who's going to go in now? Aruni Mataji, give it a try.
Na tad bha sa ya te sur yo na sha shang ko na pa va kaha yat gat va na ni var tan te tad dha ma pa ra mam ma ma.
Very nice. Okay. Punyam, you want to give it a try?
Yeah, Mataji. Na tad bha sa ya te sur yo na sha san shan ko na pa va kaha yad gat va na ni var tan te tad dha ma pa ra mam ma ma.
Ma, ma, right? So this one I was saying is a tongue twister, and it's a tongue twister because of the previous impressions that we have in our mind. Because we usually know bhashan, right? Bhashan diya. Right? But this is like in bhasma karna. So bhasayate is to eliminate. Bhasayate. Okay, bhasayate. Okay, good. Sulekha,
Yes, Mataji.
go for it.
Na tat bha sa ya te suryo na sa
Sure,
sha
sure.
na sha shan
Shang,
na
Shang.
sha
Yeah.
shan
So you
ko
do notice over here, Sulekha, there's a dot here, right? So it's not a N, but it's a nasal, like it's a ang kind of a thing, right? Nashashang ko. If you look at the Hindi or the Devanagari over here, so it's not a na, it's this like ang, right? So shang. You see that?
na sha shang
Shang. Yeah, very good.
ko na pa va ka yat
Kaha, kaha.
kaha
Give it the full force. Kaha.
kaha
Mm-hmm.
yat gat va na ni vartante tat dha ma para mam mama.
Ma. Okay, very nice. Garima?
Yes, Mataji, sorry.
Okay.
Na tad bha sa ya te sur yo na sa sha shan ko na pa va kah yad
Kaha.
kah yad gat va na ni vartan te tad dha ma pa ra ma mam ma.
Ma. Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right, so one more time. Aruni, you just went on mute. Please unmute yourself and tell us.
Na tad bha sa ya te suryo na sha shang ko na pa va kaha yat gat va na ni var tan te tat dha ma pa ra mam ma ma.
Ma. Very good. Poonam?
Na tad bha sa ya te suryo na sha shan ko na pa va kaha yad gat va na ni var tan te tad dha ma pa ra mam ma ma.
Okay, very good. So also wanted to point out about these accents. So we saw that A with a bar is a bigger the heavy This is ang, and this is sh. And then one more over here is when the U has got a bar on it. So it becomes a oo, like a hard oo. And like ooh, right? So this is ooh. If you look at this over the Devanagari, the ooh matra is here. So sur, right? And not sur. Sur means sound, right? Or the le. And then suryo, like for surya. Good. Very good. Okay, Sulekha. One more try.
Na tad bha sa ye te
Yes.
suryo na
Yeah.
sha san
Shang.
na
Shang.
sha shan
Shashank. You know Shashank? People have names, right?
shan
Shashank and have names. Shashank. So Shashang, like that.
na sha shan ko na pa va kaha
Mm.
yad gat va na ni vartante tad dha ma para mama.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, let's go. Garima. For those of you who are new, Garima has a small baby boy with her. So sometimes, he jumps into the classes and we have great noise, but that's fine. I know for Garima, it's a very difficult thing to join these classes, and I appreciate that. So go for it, Garima.
Na tat bha sayate suryo na sha shang ko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tad dham paramam ma.
Very good. Okay. Now, are we ready to go for the full? What do you say? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You give us the full now.
Without the tune, right?
Yes, without the tune.
Na tat bhasyate suryo.
Hold on. It's not sya, bhasayate.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Na,
bhasayate. Okay.
na tat bhasayate suryo. Na shashanko na pavakaha. Yad gatva na nivartante na tat dhama paramam mama.
Right? And so is this good? This is shang. So there's a soft A and then there's a hard A. Shang, right? So shang. Shashank. Na shashanko na pavakaha. All right. Who's next? Puna Mataji. Are you ready to go for the big one? The full
Yes,
word?
Mataji. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Na tat bhasyate suryo.
Bhasayate.
Yeah.
Bhasayate. Right?
Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha tad bhatva na nivartante tad bham paramam mam.
Yeah. Tadhama ma. So in Sanskrit, yeah, there's a little emphasis.
Dhama.
Dhama, yeah, it is, yeah. Dhama. So you have to know, with practice, you'll get that this is a harder A as compared to this A, but there is a A here. There's a A here. Now, in Sanskrit language, in contrast to the Hindi language, in Sanskrit, in Hindi, whenever there's a word, it never ends in a half character. But in Sanskrit, it can end. And that is why, when the half character that we have in Sanskrit is usually the full character in Sanskrit. For example, if I say dhan, right? In Hindi, I will say dhan because it's an N with a bar in front of it, right? In Hindi. But in Sanskrit, you will call it as dhana, like that. And if you go to the first chapter of Bhagavad-gita, there are many verses there which end in a half character like that, right? So we can look at those someday. But so remember, there is a A. Whenever there's a A here, there's a little bit of an emphasis, not too hard, but there is a A. So we have to recognize the A there, right? So tad dham, instead of saying dham, it will dhama, like that. So Sanskrit, varies. And that's why you'll see that most of the South Indian languages, which are very heavy, their roots are in Sanskrit. You'll find South Indians calling their sons Arjuna, Rama, because they're speaking Sanskrit, it's part of their language. So keep that in mind. Okay, good.
So question, Mataji, if we say it here, tad dhama, then in the last word, it should be mama.
Mama, yes, mama.
Mama. Okay.
Yeah, not mom. Yeah, or not mom.
Okay.
Yeah, mama. Right? And you see here, tad, this tad, this is a half, right? Tad, right, like that, right? Tad, like, okay, go. Who's next?
Mataji. Na tad bhasyate suryo.
Bhasayate. Bhasayate. Not
Na
sya.
tad bhasayate suryo. Na shashanko na pavaka. Yad gatva na Yad gatva na nivartante. Tad dhama parmarth mama.
Paramam. Paramam.
Paramam.
Paramam.
Mamam.
Paramam.
Paramam.
Yeah, you see this? Paramam.
Paramam mama.
Mama. Yeah, very nice. Right? Okay. Now, who's next? Garima.
Na tad bhasate suryo. Bhasayate suryo. Na shashanko na pavakah. Yad gatva na nivartante. Tad dhama paramam mama.
Very mama. Okay, very good. Now let's all sing it together. Natat bhasayate suryo.
Natat bhasayate suryo.
Na shashanko na pavakaha.
Na shashanko na pavakaha.
Yad gatva na nivartante.
Yat gatva na nivartante.
Tathama paramam mama.
Tathama paramam mama.
Na tad bhasayate suryo.
Natat bhasayate suryo.
Na shashanko na pavakaha.
Na shashanko na pavakaha.
Yad gatva na nivartante.
Yad
gatva na nivartante.
Tathama paramam mama.
Tathama paramam mama.
Na tad bhasayate suryo.
Natat
bhasayate suryo.
Na shashanko na pavakaha.
Na shashanko na pavakaha.
Yad gatva na nivartante.
Yad
gatva
gatva
na nivartante.
Tathama paramam mama.
Tathama paramam mama.
That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Okay. And on this occasion of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day, I wanted to emphasize on this last part, which says those who reach it never return to this material world. And so sometimes we might ask that, so what was Prabhupada doing here? So was he a fallen soul who fell into this material world? So we have to take this sentence with, with the inner meaning here. So what this verse is saying, that if you go back to Godhead, if we go back to Krishna's abode and are there, then he will still send you to this material world, or you might want to come here to this material world for special projects to take care of other fallen souls. So that's the reason people can still come back, right? So it's not that Prabhupada was a fallen soul and that's why he was here. He was here on a special project and he completed his project successfully. And he left for his abode on this, back to Krishna's abode on this occasion, on this tithi, which falls today. And so we celebrate his disappearance day because it was a project that was very successfully completed like that, right? So you'll find that both birthdays and disappearance days are celebrated, because if a life is lived very nicely and engaged in Krishna consciousness, that life is to be celebrated. And the people come and they will go. We all come, we all are going to go. Okay. So having said that, I'll take your permission. I'm, in the Bhakti Vaibhav class, and I'm supposed to teach the class today, so I better be on time. The teacher cannot be late. Okay. Thank you so much. Very good job. You now know the meanings, you now know the words. I would highly encourage you to spend 15 more minutes after this class is over and just recite it, sing it, and it'll come to you. Okay. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.